Good morning. It's really nice to be with you, even though I wish that we could really be together. I'm feeling a little bit nervous as I talk to you, even though I'm all by myself in my basement, so that's just weird. When Michael asked me to talk today and asked me if I wanted to do the sermon, the first thing I said was, no. No way. A sermon? I don't think I could do that. I'm not a scholar and I'm not a theologian by any stretch of the imagination. So we agreed this would be called a not sermon. These are just some reflections I have on our teaching text, offered to you with a lot of humility and just as your sister in the faith and on the journey with you. So we just heard the teaching text and it's long and complicated, and I'm not even going to try to attempt to explain it, but there was one line in it that really jumped out at me, and I wonder if you noticed it too. It seems perfect for our times. Do not let your hearts be troubled. I read this teaching text actually a few months ago, and that line jumped out to me then, and little did I know how perfect it would be for this moment that we find ourselves in. Troubled is a great word because it captures so much. A lot of us feel troubled right now, troubled by anxiety, or fear, or stress, or frustration, disappointment, anger, worry. Some of us are finding it right now just harder to sleep and easier to drink. And we have a sense of uncertainty and unease about the future, our own personal futures, but also the future of the world and of our country. And here in the middle of this long, complicated passage, God says, do not let your hearts be troubled. And that is a good thought. But how do we do it? First of all, let me just say right off the bat that nothing I'm about to say is meant to ignore or gloss over or sugarcoat the real worries and real daily needs that so many people have right now. There are people in this community and in this country and around the world that are suffering. And I'm not here to offer some bumper sticker wisdom or to try to paper over those real needs. They deserve our attention and our time and our resources, whatever we have, our ingenuity, and above all else, they deserve our prayers, our fervent and faithful prayers. But when the scripture says, do not let your hearts be troubled, I think it's referring or can be referring to a different kind of need. I believe God is as interested in our hearts and our souls and our spirits as he is in our bodies and our bellies and our circumstances. In this day and age, you notice there's a lot of talk about wellness. Well, God was way ahead of Goop on that one. I think he very much is concerned with the status of our souls and our spirits within us. So he was into wellness, way ahead of the curve. And I noticed this wording, do not let your hearts be troubled, because it occurred to me that it suggests we have some choice in the matter, that we have some volition. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Sometimes we can feel like circumstances are giving us no choice, but this suggests we do have some choice in the matter and that there's something we can try to affect. So in this short not sermon, there are three things that I want to focus on that I think could help a troubled heart be less so. Perspective, praise, and prayer. And how great is it that they all start with P?